What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome back to the Dapper Snapper Gaming channel. Now, last time we talked about planning, and we looked at some useful tools for planning out your team within Sword and Shield. And so today we are going to begin the tutorial of how you actually put these specific mods into your game. So we're going to go over some rules of max raid battles. We are going to go over how to get things with hidden abilities. We're also going to go over some money and watt farming today. So pretty cool episode. I think you guys will really enjoy it. But here we are over at the den that we looked at in on Cerebi, and it says that this is the ice type den. And it should have a Frostlass waiting for us in the purple den. So we're gonna go ahead and grab those watts right there. Now, before we move on, I want to go over here to my options. I want to make sure that my text speed is on slow. Most of you will probably have it on fast. Change it to slow. Then come down here and make sure that autosave is turned off. Once that is done, we are gonna save right here in front of the den. Alright, and we are set up to do a little trick. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to press yes to throwing in a wishing piece, and we're going to wait on saving our adventure. Now, what we're going to do is as soon as the save prompt happens, we are going to press the home button. What this does is we are going to be looking for either a purple or a red beam. If it is a red beam, then we're going to close the game out because we don't need a regular spawn, we need a rare spawn. And those are the purple beams. So we may get it first try, we may get it, 22nd try, we may get it 200th try. I don't know. It's a 10% chance to get that purple beam every time. And so basically what we're going to do is we're going to see what's in the den, at least as far as red or purple, and then we will be forfeiting all of the red ones because we don't want those. But we do want all of the purples. And so we will just see what we get on this first one, and I'll probably cut this out at least for a little while until we get our purple. But yeah, so let's see what we get here. Yes, that is red, so we're going to close, and then we're going to relaunch it. And so we're just going to do this a few times until we get a purple beam like what we're looking for. Now, the reason we have our text speed on slow is because for some reason us having the slower text actually changes the speed of the save. The save actually happens slower, and so as you can see, there is now nothing back. There's now nothing in the den again, and so we're just going to do this another time. Yes, we want to throw a wishing piece. We just like to save your adventure. Yes, but I don't want another red beam, so we're going to close out and try another time. So while we're doing this, at least for a little while, I'll go ahead and talk about max raid battles. Now, so like I said, you have a 10% chance of getting the purple beam on this, and so that's what we're just farming for. We're just trying to get the purple beam to show up. Once we get the purple beam to show up, the second half is so much easier than this half, and it's where you really start to see some exciting things happen. Yes, we want to throw a wishing piece. Yes, that is not purple. Keep going. But so, once you get the purple, you are then rolling within a separate table. So the reds, as you saw within the Cerebi section of our last video, there's a big table of what is possible on each side. There was a common den with a number, and then a rare den. The common den is anything that is in the red beam, and the rare den is anything that is the purple beam. And so obviously we only want the purple beam. And the reason we want the purple beam more than the red beam, even if a Frostlass could show up in the red beam with its hidden ability, is you will have to see what we do with our second part of this trick. But the second half of this trick requires us to have a purple beam. And that will allow us to keep re-rolling until we get a Frostlass. With this, it would just be roll. We would have to battle whatever's in the den and then try again. And that can get really expensive as far as wishing pieces goes. And that just takes a really, really long time. So obviously I'm taking a little while to pause between each of these just to make sure that I'm talking. But for you, if you're actually like focused on it and just doing it, you can do this very, very quickly. And so every time you're doing this, you're making another 10% chance roll until you get it. Now, I mean, I've had some happen as soon as the first try. I've had it happen in 2 or 3 tries. I've had it happen where I go 30, 45 minutes and don't get it. So, you know, your experience may vary as far as getting that 10% chance, but it is completely RNG. And there's not a whole lot you can do about that. So anyway, there is a common table and there is a rare table. And so this is also the way that you get Gigantamax Pokemon, is Gigantamax Pokemon that are not part of these special events. So things like Dreadnought, Corviknight, Butterfree, and now Snorlax. Those can appear in any den on either color of beam. But all of the other Gigantamax Pokemon will only show up in specific dens with the purple beam. And so you have to keep re-rolling that purple beam just to finally get it, and they're typically a 5% chance only in purple beam. So it's like insanely low odds that you would ever get one naturally. And so this is how I've gotten all of my Gigantamax forms. I have all of them except for the ones that are exclusive to Shield. I don't have any of those yet. But I have all the ones that you can get in Sword. So that's pretty cool. So it's interesting because some of the Gigantamax Pokemon aren't nearly as good as their normal Dynamax forms. So that's kind of a big rip on. They went through this whole design just for it to not be nearly as good. But anyway, so once we get through this process, we will begin making all sorts of money, and it'll be awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this one, and we will see if we get it. Whoops, I'm early. Oh, look at that. Look at that luck. There was no cut there. That was just how it worked out. All right, perfect. So we're going to go ahead and allow the save, and we're going to look in the den, and it's a Mr. Rhyme. So Mr. Rhyme is not what we're looking for, okay? So what we can do now is we can change our speed back to fast. We don't need that anymore. And we are going to save again. Now this places this purple beam right here, which is perfect. However, we are not looking for Mr. Rhyme. We are looking for Frostlass. So what we are going to do is press Invite Others. We're going to press the home button. Come down here to System Settings, scroll all the way down, go to Date and Time. We're going to go here and move it 1 day forward. Press OK. Enter the game again. And quit. It's that simple. So now, you notice that the den has now lit back up. So watch what happens. We get 2,000 watts. We check again. Oh, it's a Mr. Rhyme. We don't need that. Invite Others. We're going to quit. Well, we're not going to quit yet. We're going to go out here. Date and time. Move it 1 day forward. Go back in here. And quit that raid. We don't need it. So basically what's happening is we are telling the server, hey, I'm looking for people to join me. And so as it's looking, it's then experiencing a really odd phenomenon within its thing, but it's actually believing that this amount of time is passing. But for some reason, it remembers that the beam was purple. And so it gives you a fresh den every time. but with a purple beam. So this is a snow runt, but snow runt actually cannot have its hidden ability in these max raid battles. So we are going to still have to re-roll him, even though it's the right evolutionary line. But so, yeah, we're just going to keep doing this. If your time happens to be set to sync with the internet, just turn that off. It doesn't hurt anything. So we're going to just keep doing this right here until we get a Frostlass. But so every time we're doing this, we're getting 2,000 watts. And so how do we use this system for other things? So we're gaining a lot of watts, right? And so there are a few ways that you can use watts to gain a lot of money. The first way is going to be the digging duo. Now the digging duo are a couple of hikers that stand right next to the daycare. I will point those out to you toward the end of the video as we head over toward the daycare. But what they do is they search for valuable items underground, and you pay them 500 watts to do that. So as you can see, you get 4 tries with all of those. I don't even know what this is. It's supposed to be an ice type, right? Oh, this is Avalug. Oh, okay. Huh. I'll have to come back and actually get me get an Avalug later. Avalug's actually pretty good in this game. He's a great counter to Galarian Darmanitan. Anyway, but so the digging duo will go underground and find you valuable items. Most commonly it's rare bones, but they can also find you fossils, which is really helpful if you want to shiny hunt fossils. That's really the only way to do that, is to just keep mashing A on the digging duo and then just see what you get, forever later. But so that's one way to do it. And then you can just go sell everything that you get. To me, a much more efficient way to do it is going to be with using the Watt Traders. Now, Watt Traders will sell wishing pieces, they'll sell TRs, they sell all that stuff. But they also sell specialized Pokeballs, and that is what we are going to be focused on. We are looking specifically for luxury balls. So when you buy luxury balls from a store, they're normally $3,000, I believe, 3,000 Pokedollars. And you can sell things back to the store for half price. And so what you do is you go to the Watt Trader, and you just find the Watt Trader who has luxury balls that day. And if he doesn't happen to have them that day, then this is how you move time forward. Keep in mind, you cannot technically move time forward for certain events in the game just by changing your time. You actually have to come do this den trick for the game to think that one day has passed. And I will show you an example of something that's important for later in the game. And that will come in our training video, because we will actually be using this trick again for training, which is actually kind of nutty just how many uses this trick has. So Vanillix, unfortunately, we do not need a Vanillix like this. We are still looking for a Frostlass. And so this is the thing, is that you could get a Frostlass first try. You might not get one in absolutely forever. It's just a random chance to get it. Oh, we have Glaceon there. But yeah, so this has a lot of different uses to it, but it is the only way to actually make the game believe that a day has passed. Because otherwise, if you go in and just change your date, none of your like time-based events will actually happen. But if you do this, any time-based events will reset. So every time I do this, I could be like going up to do the lottery in order to get like PP ups and PP maxes, which is something that we can do. We will also be doing, we will also be using this for our training method. And I will be showing several ways to do training in this series, but one of the main ways to do it is actually a hybrid method that I've been using. It is a half Pokejobs method and half proteins and vitamins. So it's an interesting method, but what it does is it saves you a lot of extra trouble, and you'll see what I mean when we get to that. And I realize that this is like the most exciting thing that you could possibly be doing right now, is watching me just roll the dice on a Frostlass. And now here's the thing is to also consider is that we could do this all night long, and we might not ever get it. And that's just the unfortunate part about it, is that it's just a roll every time. And it's also a problem that it is not guaranteed ever that you will get the hidden ability like what we are looking for. But this is how you get hidden abilities. And this is the only way that you can get them. Now we will hopefully find out during the battle whether or not the Frostlass has Cursed Body or not. Just if something touches it and it disables them, then that is perfect. That is exactly what we need. But otherwise, we may be in trouble, because then we have to do this all over again. So yes, it is a little tedious, but this is the fastest way to do it. All right, we got it. Let's go. So yeah, this is actually our third Frostlass that we are finding. And yeah, it's taken a lot longer than what I was hoping it would. But sometimes that's just how it goes, especially since this is only like a 10% chance. And I think it's like you roll for number of stars and then you roll for what actually shows up. So we had to get a 5-star roll and then a 10% chance on top of that. So it's pretty rare. Although we have gotten a couple Glaceons, which is a 5% chance. So kind of salty about that. But it is what it is. But so we're going to ask for help here. There we go. Just for these matches, I like to let other people get in on them. Plus the AI help on some of these is just really bad. But so let's talk about max raid battles for just a second. So first of all, when I go into this and I have saved in front of this den, this Pokemon is locked in. Its IVs will always be what they are if I catch it right now. Its ability will always be what it is right now. You can't just like save in front of the den and then keep retrying it until you get what you want. What it is right now is what it always will be. So that is the unfortunate downside about max raid battles, is you can't just save spam it. But it's okay. With how fast you can encounter Pokemon, it's not too terribly bad. But yeah, so also this method, this searching method for the beams and stuff is not my strat. It's a strat that I saw for somebody else do. So I will throw it up in the iCard. Who originally did this, the video that I originally watched. So if you want to check that out, then feel free to. But we've got us a Cinderace as well as ourselves. So we should be okay, but I'm going to let this timer run out just a little more, and we'll see if we get anybody else. All right, well, looks like nobody's coming. So we'll just grab some random AI here. And I think with two of us, it should be just fine, especially with him having a Cinderace. Pyro Ball is going to do a really good amount of damage. But yeah, so we're just going to take on this max raid battle. And so I'll talk a little bit about how max raid battles work. So this is a 5-star Frostlass, and you'll notice that all the Pokemon in Max Raid battles have a star value. So 5 stars is obviously the best, and it guarantees that you will have 4 perfect IVs on this Pokemon. And then the other 2 will be random. So they could be perfect, but each one is a 1 in 32 chance. If you don't know what IVs are, that's totally fine. We will be covering that in our next episode of this series. What IVs are, how they affect your stats, all that stuff will be covered next time. So we're going to go ahead and Dynamax and take on this raid, and hopefully we can take this down. This shouldn't be too terribly hard of a raid, especially given what our partners are. So I think we'll be fine. Yeah, Pyro Ball does a good chunk. And there's the cursed body. So we did get the hidden ability. So this is what we've been waiting for this whole time. We went through. This is our 3rd Frostlass, and we finally got our hidden ability. Now, unfortunately, he did just disable Pyro Ball, which is going to be Cinderace's main form of hitting this. But that should be okay. Hopefully this thing carries something other than just high jump kick. Otherwise we are kind of in trouble at all. Okay, he has Flame Charge. Ooh, that did it a lot. Oh, it crit. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But that is going to be nice, and we should be able to knock this out either this turn or next turn. So this shouldn't be that big of a deal. And our Max Darkness should be a chunk. Hopefully through the shield just knocks it out. No, it doesn't knock it out, but it's close. Actually, I think from the shield going down, it might just faint here. And it does. Very, very nice. So we're going to go ahead and throw an Ultra Ball here. Now, I do think that, as far as I know, the catch rates for if you are the host is 100%. So let's see if we can get it. Get in the ball. Yes, we got it. So that is our cursed body Frostlass. So we are set to move on to the next thing. We got our hidden ability, and we are set to move on. Now, one thing that you need to do now is you will need to go find the parent that is needed for the breeding. Now, Vanillux is the appropriate parent, and you can actually just find those out in the wild. So I'm not going to show you. I'm not going to show me catching that because it doesn't matter what that thing's ability is. But so yeah, we are going to go ahead and move on to the next episode where we begin our breeding guide, and that will be the main big episode of the series. And I hope you guys are looking forward to that. So I will see you guys in episode 3. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until then, bye-bye.